Okay, so Miss Penny, I'm handing over to you now.
Okay, right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the presentation about the animation courses at Teesside and games courses at TU London. My name is Penny Holton-Craig, and I am the Principal Lecturer for Learning and Teaching in the Department of Digital Arts and Animation. And I want to introduce Mike Stockton as well, who is the Head of Department, who's waving at you now. So what I'm going to do today is just talk you through how we teach animation at Teesside, a little bit about the courses, and I'm really hoping that you can just, if you've got any questions or is any particular area of information that you're interested in, that you will just either put it in the chat or just ask out loud and get it translated if possible. Or I don't know how good your English is. Is your English great? Thumbs ups?
Maybe they're shy. Hopefully they're
That's okay. You can. It's all right. All right, so I'm going to share my slides with you. Okay, can everybody see that?
Yes, we can see your slides.
All right, so we are here. This is the northeast of England, Teesside, and we are situated in a town called Middlesbrough in the northeast. So I've put that blue dot so you can just see where we are in relation to the rest of the UK. So as you can see, we're quite near the coast. So if you like surfing and you're quite good with cold water, it's a really great place to come. These are a couple of pictures of the campus. You can see there it was raining in this one. It does rain quite a lot. But it's also can be quite windy, but also very sunny. If you turn around and look the opposite direction, you get the Curve building, the library, and this is called the Campus Heart, where we have lots of events through the year. Sometimes you'll come back down and there's deck chairs or there's a fun fair. It's a really nice place for the students to hang out, especially when the weather's lovely. Okay. So we are the Department of Digital Arts and Animation. Our animation courses are ranked 4th in the UK, 9th in Europe, and 19th in the world by the Animation Career Review, which is an American company which basically looks at animation courses all around the world, and we have a very rigorous testing process every year so that we can, they assess our rankings. And we're also ranked by other universities as well. We also rank each other. So we're very proud to be 4th in the UK, 9th in Europe, and 19th in the world. So in terms of our courses, we have 4 undergraduate courses in the department. We have 2D animation and stop motion, animation, visual effects and motion graphics, and concept art. We have some amazing facilities. We have dedicated studio space for our animation and visual effects students. We have a sound stage with a motion control rig. We have a stop motion studio. Actually, we have 2 stop motion studios, and we're soon to have a 3rd stop motion studio. We have a recording studio and voice booth, motion capture suite with facial capture, life drawing studio, high-end computers. So all our computers are refreshed regularly, have dual monitors, and are very high spec. And all our computers either have graphics tablets or Cintiqs attached to them. The software that we use is industry standard. So whatever you use in companies around the world, that's what we teach here at Teesside. Coming in spring 2025, we've got a brand new building being built, which is nearly there now. They're just putting the name on the building. I noticed that yesterday. And that's going to have a brand new soundstage with an LED volume. So I don't know if you guys have ever seen something like the Disney's Mandalorian, where they have sort of a wraparound screen. We've got one of those. Motion control rig and motion capture and facial capture. We're also going to have a new stop motion studio and workshop. We're going to have game studios, animation visual effects studios, another recording studio, and an immersive technology lab, as well as lots of other fun rooms and tools. We've got little robots and holograms and all sorts of things going in there. Okay, so our staff come from a range of backgrounds, but they've all got some industry experience. They come from animation, visual effects, motion graphics, concept art, games, 2D animation and stop motion, production, technical direction, and research. Quite a lot of our staff have either got PhDs or are studying for PhDs. But our staff are also very active all the time in actually producing their own work. So we don't just teach, we do work for other people. So a few examples just from the last year. We've got Ellie Land, who has created a film called Plunge, which was entered into the Edinburgh International Film Festival, was also shortlisted for a BAFTA. And then we've got Kath O'Connor, who has won multiple awards with her stop motion film called Potter's Mirror. We've got Leslie Ann, who recently made a pop video for Black Country New Road, which was only just released yesterday. And then there's me, who has recently completed work on a new documentary about Apollo 1. I did the animation and motion graphics for that film. So every year we have our own animation festival called Animex. It's an international festival. We get speakers from all around the world. We get talks from top studios. They do workshops. We get workshops for the students for industry professionals, networking events, portfolio reviews. Hello? Is that okay?
Yeah, sorry, I think the student was not muted. Sorry about that.
Oh, that's okay.
Please carry
I
on.
thought there was a
Thank you.
question. Okay, if you do have any questions, just shout out. But our festival is free for all students. So every year, I think it's about week 7 or 8 of semester 1, the students attend for a whole week. Our students get jobs in studios all around the world. This is my most recent page of companies that the students have found work. I don't know whether you recognize any of them. Possibly the most famous ones, I think, are Industrial Light and Magic. But there's also Larian Studios and Red Star and Blue Zoo, lots of them. And these are a mix of games companies, animation companies, concept art companies, 2D companies, immersive companies, companies that do motion capture. So there's a whole massive range of destinations for our students, and they do very well. Oh, Disney, you probably recognize Disney. We've got 2 students who've just finished work on Moana 2. So here's just some of the graduate credits. So rather than have, I could fill this about 10 or 20 times over, but these are some of the more recent films and games that our students have worked on. We also, a lot of our students end up working overseas. So we've got some examples here of graduates who are working in Vancouver, in Australia, in Melbourne, in Ottawa, in Canada, and Vancouver in Canada. Canada seems to be the biggest destination for us, for our graduates, but they also go to the US, go to Australia. Okay. Any questions so far? Is everybody happy? Can everybody hear me okay and understand me?
I think silence means they're fine. But
Okay.
actually, if you don't mind, I have a question, maybe on
Sure.
behalf of the attending students. But so your graduates working for very big companies and making films, but do you connect them? I believe you have a strong connection with the industry, but maybe do you
Yes.
offer placement year, or maybe do you give any reference to your students?
We do have a placement year where after years 1 and 2, students can opt to do a placement. In truth, the big companies tend not to do 1-year placements. They are much more likely to do summer internships. But we do point students to internships wherever they are available. It tends to be more local companies that do the 1-year placements, and the smaller companies do your 1-year placements, but the big companies tend to do their own thing, and they tend to do summer internships. That's a good question, though. But in terms of how we find our students jobs, once the students have graduated, we do help them because our courses have been running since the early 90s. we have a lot of alumni, a lot of graduates who are working in industry who we keep in touch with. So we are able to put graduates in contact with alumni in different companies. They quite often buddy up and give the graduates give feedback to the new students. And so we've got a very tight community of students graduates working in industry and our Teesside students. So it's like a big family, which is really great. Does that answer the question okay?
Yes, thank you so much. That's very helpful for students, because some Japanese students hoping to work in the UK,
Yes.
which is, I think, quite difficult. But if they have chance to speak with alumni, that's very helpful for them.
Yeah.
I think just to add to that a little bit, Penny's probably going to touch on again over Animex and what we do with our Expo series. We're very much vocational as a university, and this is why we put on these big events to bring the companies to us so our students can meet them, because as Penny's pointed out, particularly in the animation and creative industries, they're distributed across the world. So we put on these events to bring them in front of the students, and it's become a destination for industry to come and recruit our students in our Expo series. So yeah, we feel the same as the students, that this has got to be about getting you contacts with people in industry and leading towards the jobs that come out afterwards. Is that okay, Penny?
Yeah. Well, I can talk about that now because I haven't got a slide for that. So we might as well just talk about that now. So we have, we're not lots of universities, especially art universities, have degree shows. Our version of a degree show is called Expo Tees, where our students, they'll be in the new building this year. They all come together and we invite recruiters from studios all over the country who come up and cherry pick the best students, come and meet the students, talk to the students, and give them some feedback as well. So it's a really nice event for the students and their families to just really immerse themselves in meeting recruiters, meeting studios, and also seeing what each other have done as well. It's a really nice celebration at the end of the year.
These things all sort of fit together. We start in the first year with this. We have in the first year a thing called Expo Potential, second year Expo Talent, and third year is Expo Tees. And in the first year, the students get to meet the people from companies. In the second year, they know a bit more about the students, so they can start putting in professional briefs for the students to work on. And by the third year, they've built up a relationship with those students over the years. And they come up here to actively recruit the students to go and work in LA or Seattle or London. So as Penny says, it's about building on the relationship we've had for nearly 30 years now with industry leaders. We also, with the Animex Festival, it's a lot of our graduates coming back and talking about what they're doing now and talking about how, Teesside helped them to get to where they are. We are, as Penny showed on the first slide, right in the middle of the country. We're sort of slap bang in the middle, so we're very easy access for the likes of Scotland, and also equally easy to access London, which Catherine will talk about in a while. But we also know that the animation and visual effects industries are global, so we give them a base to come to 2 times a year to meet with the students and have those conversations. And for the students, ideally, to get business cards, so they'll be working with those companies in future.
Yeah, and the other thing we do, we work very hard with the students to develop their CVs, their show reels, their online presence. So when they do get to meet industry, that they are ready, they are completely industry ready. They also get practice for interviews as well. So they're prepared through the years to go out into the world and act as professionals. Okay, there was something else I was going to say then. It's one of the, when you've got something to say and then you forget. It'll come back to me. Okay. All right. So is anybody interested in concept art?
I think just to add into that, it's relatively, we did the first course in the UK in concept art. It was never meant to be as successful as it is, but it has become our most successful creative course, and particularly with international students. We get a huge amount of students coming from China, Malaysia, West Africa, because of its reputation, and it's now grown to be our biggest creative course. And that's down to, you know, we have a very, like we do with all our courses, we have a significant visiting speakers program, a lot of which are made up of our graduates and our alumni who come in and talk every Wednesday about what they're doing in industry. And it's very much focused around developing one's personal portfolio for freelance work, but also for working in industry in areas like video games, TV and film. And so it's been incredibly popular. Our graduates have gone on to work on, well, our tutors all come from industry like they do in animation. Everybody who works on the team has worked for at least 2 or 3 years in industry beforehand. Myself, I worked for Nintendo and Sony for 10 years before I came to teach at Teesside. And we have staff who've come from concept art, working on Rockstar games, working on Call of Duty, working on Genshin Impact and things like that. And the students go on to work in those areas as well. So, like Penny said, it's a big family. We bring people back, and it's a chance to catch up with people that we've taught before, and for them to help our students. But concept art is probably our biggest course in that area. And it's probably more well known internationally than it is nationally, but we've had some fantastic successes coming out of it. So if you're not aware of it right now, you know, we have a couple of Instagram feeds where all the student work goes to. Also the staff profiles, and staff are there to talk to you if you wish to. So please just look out for those, and we can share those links later on if that helps. Sorry, Benny.
Keep going, that's fine. But this course really suits people who are really good at drawing, really good at art, and love to develop backgrounds, characters, props, using a range of techniques. It's not all hand-drawn. That we do there's a lot of digital art. There's 3D. There's a lot of 3D it's because when you're working on concept art, you tend to work in a mixture of mediums, whichever is most suitable to the job that you're developing artwork for. Okay, moving on to visual effects and motion graphics. I'm not sure how well this is going to play, but I'm just going to have a go. I'm just going to make sure the audio is low. So as I'm talking, I can play you the motion graphics and visual effects reel. So this course is aimed at students who don't really like character animation in terms of bringing characters to life, but they really like creating 3D models, doing design and look development for creative projects, creative 3D projects, some animation, motion graphics, if they like to produce title sequences, idents, promos, that sort of thing for corporate film, TV. It's a very creative area which can use a wide range of skills which are very similar to visual effects, which is why we've got visual effects and motion graphics in the same degree. We also teach prop and character rigging, effects and simulation. So if you like animating blowing things up, or snow or water, or compositing, where you put images together. So you put your background, your foreground, you do your grading, add all the effects, as you can see here. So it's a real wide-ranging course which prepares you for a lot of different industry roles. And through this course, you can find your specialism as well. So as you develop your skills in first year, when you're doing sort of general skills and learning a bit about everything, in year 2, you will start to hone your skills and find your specialism. So you might want to be a motion graphics designer, or you might want to work in film doing explosions or effects, or you might want to do compositing, or you might want to do 3D modeling. All these things, we encourage you to find your specialism, and we've got some amazing staff with very specialist skills who can support you through that. Okay, so moving on. Anybody got any questions about either of concept art or visual effects? While we're going, you all okay?
Yes, I think we're all okay so far.
Okay, good. Are the subtitles working? Do they help?
Yes, it's working quite properly.
Great.
Thank you.
Okay, because sometimes they can say quite funny things that aren't, so they can be quite strange. All right, so I'll carrying on. Okay. Ooh. So the next course I want to talk about is our BA Animation. And this is a course which, again, it's for students who really like to act. They really like to perform, but not themselves on a stage through their digital characters. So at the same time, it's a generalist course. So our students will learn how to do 3D modeling, texturing, lighting, rendering, character rigging, prop rigging, performance capture, which is where you get into the performance capture suit, you know, the suit with all the balls on, which then tracks your movement, and then you put that onto a 3D character. Also facial tracking, where you have a camera attached to a headset and dots on your face so that you can then put your facial movements onto a character. So as well as that, our course has options. So in year 2, you can, if you really would like to do 2D animation as well as 3D animation, you can opt to do the 2D animation module. If you don't want to do 2D, you can do the performance capture second year module. Also, we have options for students who want to work in games, or film. So if you want to work in games, you can work with the game students as animators developing work for the games group project, where they make a game as a team and you work as an animator on that team. Or you can work with the animation students and visual effects students to produce short films, title sequences as a team, if you want to go that route. So we've got a lot of optionality in this degree where you can then choose your path. And again, in final year, you can opt to go through the games route, doing the beta arcade module, where again, you work with students on a game, or you can do the Kino module where you work with students on a short film. Okay, I forgot to play this. I shall play this. Bring this down a little bit. So students on the course, they tend to get really into acting and performance. We teach acting, but through character animation. So we teach acting theory. We teach you about how to record video reference, how to use that reference when bringing your work into 3D. We also teach students how to get that animation into a game engine. So if you want to work in games, you know, you bring your animation into Unreal, where you can then play your game animation as opposed to just watching it, which is a whole different way to do things. So hopefully this gives you a flavor that the animation course really gives you the chance to explore your own personality, your own storytelling, but through animated characters. Let that finish. Is this playing okay, or is it buffering? I'm just quite curious.
Yes, it's working.
Great, that's really good. I'll let this finish through. So another thing that we do with our student films that we make is that we enter them into competitions, and we've got a very successful record of getting our student films into animation festivals and winning awards. We have the Royal Television Society Awards, which we enter into every year, and every year we win. So we're very, very pleased about that. And us students really like to go up to the ceremony and to have their dinner and with all the different TV studios there and collect their award.
We won one just a couple of weeks ago, didn't we, Penny? Our
Yep.
international students for an animation called Juicy Cat, which is you'll be able to see. It's part of the 2D and stop motion approach. It's a lot of influence by Studio Ghibli sort of animation, and it's absolutely beautiful. And again, won awards, and it's into the national awards.
Yeah, and it also got into a couple of film festivals as well. So that's animation. Okay, any questions on either animation or visual effects? Very quiet.
Yes, I know.
Not scary. You want to put it in the chat? Have you got a question in the chat at all?
Yeah, let me check. We don't have any questions so far, but Japanese students tend to say question at the end of the presentation.
That's okay.
Yes.
That's okay.
Thank you so much. So maybe we can go through it for now.
Yeah, okay, I'll carry on.
Thank you.
Okay, so moving on to 2D animation and stop motion. So this course is for students who not very keen on 3D. They really want to draw. They want to make little teeny tiny models and move them around. So a lot of our students are very highly creative, and when you come to us, we don't want to make you into what we call cookie cutter. So everybody comes out the same. All our students have developed their own design skills, their own animation skills, their own style. So I'll start playing the video for you, and you'll be able to see just the wide range of styles that our students develop. So they become individual artists. So if you come out of a T-side course, you know, people wouldn't be able to have, we don't have a style. You become what you want to be. So the students study 2D animation, they study character design, they study concept art, they study stop motion animation in different styles, from they do puppet making, but they also do paper cutout, they do plasticine, they do 3D printing, all sorts of different animation techniques. They also do background creation, and they also do cinematography and also compositing. So they learn how to do things like removing wires in a compositing software from their characters, but and also doing things like green screen compositing, so they can make the whole film. They're not reliant on anybody else to help them with the finishing stage. That's a bit of juicy cat.
Lots of manga fans as well, Penny, come into 2D, don't they?
Yes, they do. Yeah. We've got some fantastic state-of-the-art stop motion studios, which are the envy of any visiting animators. Come around and go, oh, I wish we had studios like you. They're really beautifully done. And I think we've probably got about 24 animation booths with lighting, with cameras, with sort of magnets, so that our rigs can sort of attach to the underside. We've got lights, we've got high-end Apple Macs. Here we go, it's a bit more. So you can see there's a nice, real huge range of animation work there. Okay. So that's me done. I shall stop sharing.
Thank you for your presentation.
That's okay.
Maybe
Hopefully
we can, if someone, maybe we can ask now if they have any question.
Yeah. Anybody got any questions?
何かご質問ある方いらっしゃいますか？もしよろしければ、チャットの方に、英語でも日本語でもご投稿いただければと思います。また、ミュートを外して、そのまんまお声かけいただいても構いません。Maybe we can wait for
Yeah.
few seconds.
Okay.
Oh, okay, we got one question.
Okay, for foundation. Okay. So, are you thinking about doing foundation as in starting at level 3? Is that what we're talking about?
Yes, I think.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay. Okay. So if you want to come on to our level 3 courses, I think as long as if you're looking for a portfolio, we like to see that you get some, depends what course you're going for. What course would you be interested in? The next question, because it can vary.
And it may be different. But
Yeah, so if you don't know, so
oh,
yeah,
actually,
foundation. I think we're more interested. You know, as long as you've got some basic drawing skills, our foundation course is aimed at improving your drawing skills and improving your animation study skills. So in terms of a portfolio for that, we're not particularly demanding.
We like to see you have an interest in things more than anything. You know, if you have a passion,
yeah. An interest in a passion.
We can't give you passion. You know, we can always improve anything, but so long as you have a passion, and we can see that, we don't need a huge amount of work. You know, your favorite 3 or 4 pieces are always better than just hundreds of pages of things you're not happy with. Just to get some idea of who you are and what you want to get out of the course and how we can help you develop. What tends to happen, particularly with concept art, is we get a huge amount of manga submissions. We get things like League of Legends characters, And so some people have become brilliant at drawing League of Legends characters, but then when they need to draw an environment, they find it very hard. And we just need to know what you're interested in and where you could develop. But we'll work with you on that.
Yeah, who you are. Draw yourself as a character.
I see. Thank you so much. Actually, she replied and she's interested in concept art or game animation, but probably.
Okay, yeah. So with concept art, then we do need drawing skills. If it's for the 3D animation course, it's not as important. But we do like you to be really interested and really passionate about animation. When you join us, we don't assume that you know how to do any 3D. So we will teach you all that, because we get students coming with a range of backgrounds. They may have done just fine art, or they may have done photography or media studies. So we assume no knowledge, and then so that all the students get the same training as if they didn't know anything in the first year. But if we find that you're very sort of moving quickly and you do have prior knowledge, we will push you, so you're not held back by students who have got less knowledge than you. We will basically scale what you do depending on your ability and what you know.
Thank you for your advice. Actually, may I add one more question relating to the portfolio? We get questions how many pieces of work they should submit, because some university sometimes require 10 or between 10 to 18, but sometimes it's quite hard for students to submit that long portfolio. But how many pieces do you recommend?
I don't think it's in terms of a number of pieces, but a range. So if you had 2 or 3, so a little bit of photography, 2 or 3 pieces, some nice photographs that you've taken. So 10 pieces is absolutely fine.
I see.
The portfolio isn't really a test of applicants. It's more to understand the applicants themselves. So I think, as Penny says, we would rather see the things that you're really proud of. We would rather see, things that you're passionate about than seeing 10 to 18 images. 10's probably right at our top end. We do get a lot of people who submit like 70 images, which is great. But a big thing of being an artist is to be able to curate those things into something you're passionate about. I've stuck some examples of concept art and our Instagram in the chat there for anyone who wants to have a look at it. But all of the staff are available through there. They love to have a chat. So, please just give them a prod. That's their Instagram, and they share that with the students. But it'll give you some idea of not what we expect people coming in with, but what we would want to see people leaving with at the end of it.
Thank you so much for your advice. I think the Instagram will be very helpful for them, so we'll copy it. Thank you. And we have one more additional question from same student. Do you have any recommendation for app or software to download before starting the course, or any laptop to buy?
In terms of apps, what we don't really want you to do is to buy any apps before you come, because once you start the course, you will get free access to the Autodesk Education Suite. And you will also get free access to all the Adobe tools, so Photoshop, Illustrator, and you will have free access at home on your own laptops and your own computers. So we don't want you to buy anything. If you did want to have a play with 3D, you could download Blender.
That's free.
Because that's free. But in terms of a laptop, you need to have as powerful a one as you can manage. So with a nice up-to-date graphics card, processor, at least 16 gigabytes of RAM.
There's a lot of, they're coming down in price. The 3D animation is very GPU heavy. So things like RTX cards, but nothing really heavy. You can get a really good laptop for around $1,000. That will have an RTX 30 or 40 in, which will be absolutely fine. But again, you don't really need, right now, it's about, as Penny has said, on campus, we provide you with all of those things. The software is available for you off campus as well. In terms of, Rika has been asking about concept art and game animation. We do our, on campus, we do our animation within Maya. We implement that for games
Yeah.
through Unreal Engine, which we have here, and of course Unreal Engine's free to you guys as well. And for concept art, it's primarily Photoshop with a bit of Blender, maybe a little bit of ZBrush for organic backgrounds. But yeah, primarily a lot of the students tend to do everything in Photoshop. Some students like to do things with a bit more 3D and environments, and they tend to take ZBrush and maybe a little bit of Blender and Maya, but we can help you with that if that's what you're interested in.
I see. I think that's very helpful advice for Miss Rika, because Japanese students wants to prepare everything in advance, but
Yeah,
it's very good information for them. They can download it all after enrolling to your university.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. Maybe we can carry on now.
Yeah. Catherine?
Okay, so we're moving on to me now. So I will just share my screen. I'm going to tell you a little bit about Teesside University London, which is a new campus for Teesside University, and it's just another option for you if we cover the subject that you're looking for, and if you fancy studying in London. Now, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see.
Perfect. Good. So my name's Catherine Elliott, and I'm Head of Partnerships at Teesside University London. So I'm going to just tell you a little bit about where we are and what we offer. As we're a much smaller campus than the main campus in Middlesbrough, we offer a much smaller portfolio of courses, but I'll tell you a little bit about those. And like I said, a bit about where we are. So our London campus opened in September 2023. So we're in our second academic year of operation, and we have, like I said, a much smaller portfolio of courses than would be offered in our Middlesbrough campus. But they're digital business courses, gaming courses, and the courses that we've chosen to run in London is very much based on things that Teesside University, our main campus, are very good at. So some of the things that Penny was talking about, we brought some of those courses down to London, but also based on extensive research that was done on employers in the local area in terms of where there are skills gaps, so where they're looking for skilled graduates. So those are the courses that we're currently offering at Teesside University London. We have a bit of a different delivery model in London. I will tell you a little bit about that. And we have a mixture of UK and international students studying both undergraduate and postgraduate degrees. And just to give you a bit of an idea of sort of the scale of where we are at the moment at Teesside University London, we currently have about 300 students. So much smaller than the main campus, which I believe is about 22,000. Am I right? It's something along those lines, isn't it? In Middlesbrough. So much smaller campus. So in terms of where we are in London, we're in a really exciting part of London, actually. So we are on the Olympic Park. So London hosted the Olympic Games in 2012. And one of the conditions of London hosting the Olympics was that the Olympic Park would be fully used after the Olympics finished. So essentially, it's all been repurposed and reused. And if you can see this image here, in the centre of the screen there is the Olympic Stadium, which is now the home to a Premier League football team, West Ham. On the bottom left-hand side is the Velodrome, which is still used for cycling, major track cycling events. And then the building on sort of the bottom right-hand side is where we're based, and it's a place called Here East. And during the Olympic Games, it was the Press and Media Centre. So all of the world's media was based there during the Olympic Games, so both the TV media and the press media as well. But once the Olympics was over, that building was repurposed, and it's now become a real sort of tech, digital innovation hub. It's home to 5 universities, including Teesside University London. It's home to businesses that you may have heard of, so large-scale businesses. So, for example, Ford, the car manufacturer, is based within Here East, and they're doing quite a lot of their innovative design work for future cars. So the cars that we might see on the roads in 5 to 10 years' time are currently being designed at Here East. We're based next door to a company called Sports Interactive, which is a games maker. They make the Football Manager game, and they're owned by Sega. There's also a lot of small businesses, entrepreneurs, startups So it's a really exciting place to come and study. It's not a traditional university campus, but what it does have is it has lots and lots of opportunities for our students to get work experience placements, to get internships, to look for graduate opportunities, all on the doorstep. So it's a really exciting place for our students to study. And the feedback we get from our students is that they love being sort of part of that business student network, all in the same place. And of course, we're on the doorstep from central London. So Stratford, which is the closest station to where we are, is really accessible to all parts of London. And this is just another view of sort of our campus. We have a lovely outdoor terrace, which looks out onto the canal. It's a really sort of vibrant, thriving place to be. There's lots of bars, restaurants, retail outlets. All of our students get discounts in all of these. So it's a really nice place to be, especially during the summer months. So I mentioned the courses that we have on offer at Teesside University London, and it falls into these three areas. So we've got computer games and animation courses, which is what I believe you're all interested in. We also have business courses, and we also have computer science courses as well. So at undergraduate level, I'll focus on the computer games and animation because I know that's what you're interested in. So at undergraduate level, we have the BA Games Art and Design course, and we have a BSc Games Design and Development course. So those two courses are quite different in that the BA Games Art and Design is very much more for people who are interested in the art and the animation side of things, and the design and the development is a bit more technical. So people who might be more interested in sort of the actual development of games or the more programming of games. And then we also offer, as I said, some business and computer science courses as well. We also offer the certificate in higher education across all of our subjects, which is essentially the first year of the degree. And I normally tell potential students that that's good for students who may not be sure if they want to commit to a full 3 years up front, or if they're not sure if they're going to meet the entry requirements. So that's another option as well. All of our full undergraduate courses are 3 years, as they are in Middlesbrough. They're full-time courses, but I mentioned at the start that our delivery model is slightly different. And the way that we deliver all of our courses in Teesside University London is that you come to campus 2 days a week. So you study for 2 full days. Currently, our students either do Monday and Tuesday or Thursday and Friday on campus, depending on what course they're doing. And the reason we've done our courses that way is that it's feedback from potential students that we know a lot of our students need to get part-time jobs or want to get part-time jobs, so it allows them to do that. It also means they only have to pay for travel to come to our campus 2 days a week, because some students do live quite far away. And it just allows that flexibility that you can do other things and you can plan your study and your life around those 2 days that you know you need to be in campus. We also arrange our courses that you only study 1 module at a time in a 6-week block. So usually in universities, you might study 2 or 3 modules, so 3 different subject areas, doing them all sort of concurrently. And then you have an exam period, and then you come back and do another 2 or 3 modules at the same time. We only do 1 module at a time at Teesside University London, which means that you can really focus on that particular area that you're doing in the 6-week block. And also all the assessment is contained within that 6 weeks as well. So by the end of a 6-week block, you have completed 30 credits before you then move on to the next one. We also have multiple start dates. So we've got September, November and January start dates as well. And we also have postgraduate courses. So the postgraduate course that will be relevant to you is the MA Animation and Visual Effects. So we offer kind of progression in all of our courses as well. And with the master's programs, they're also 2 days a week and the same sort of module approach as well. And this is just a visual of how the modules work. So if you were to start in September 2025 on an undergraduate course, each block is worth 30 credits. You do 120 credits per academic year. So if you were to start in September, you essentially do block 1, 2, 3 and 4, and you would finish in sort of end of April time, and then you return in September for the next year, and you do the next 120 credits. So each block is 6 weeks, and there's at least a week's break between each block to give you a bit of a chance to rest and recover before you come back and do the next block. Also, as part of all of our degrees at Teesside University London, we embed what's called future-facing learning. So again, this is working off feedback from employers who quite often tell universities that students have and graduates have fantastic technical skills. You know, they've got all of the skills they need to do the job, but what they sometimes lack are some of the softer skills. So some of the things like communication, problem-solving skills, building really great relationships. So we teach all of that, and it's embedded within all of our courses. It's worth 20% of assessment as well. And the way that we embed this is by doing things like bringing in employers to present real life challenges and real life problems for students to try and solve. We host things like student networking events where we bring in employers and students can network with those employers. And we have been successful in students actually getting themselves internships through some of those events. So we give you lots and lots of opportunities throughout your studies to develop those real employability skills, which means that at the end of your degree, you've got those fantastic technical skills, but you're also really employable and you can go and get a great job at the end of it as well. Also, Penny mentioned about the Adobe apps. So at Teesside University London, we are also part of the Adobe Creative Campus, which gives you all of those sort of industry-leading apps and asset libraries that you would have access to help you with your studies and your work. And also at Teesside University London, we're a digital, what's called a digital first campus. So all resources, no matter what course you're doing, are available in the cloud. So all you need to do is bring a laptop, you can plug yourself in and you're ready to go wherever you want to study. So you can study on our campus, but you can study wherever you may be, and you have access to all of the resources that you need through the link that we have with Amazon Web Services. So again, working with industry, Penny's mentioned, you know, how important it is to work with industry and the great links that they have on the main campus. We also have some of those same links in London and some different ones as well because of where we're based. So it's really important for us that our students do get those real life experiences working with industry, and we'll do everything we can to sort of facilitate those links if you come and study with us. And also, we're a very, very small campus, as I said. So what we don't have that the main campus has is the access to lots and lots of societies that you would get on a bigger university. However, we do still think it's really important that there's lots and lots of things available to you as a student. So we do arrange things on campus. So we have things like games tournaments, movie nights. We celebrate particular celebrations, so things like Christmas, Halloween, Eid. So we do lots of things on campus, but also because we're part of that Here East community, we do things as well off campus with some of the other universities on site as well. So we do things like five-a-side football, there's the opportunity to go kayaking or rock climbing. There's also lots of opportunities to volunteer locally. There's also a big freshers fair that covers all of the students on our campus as well. So there's always lots going on, but as I said, we're very small, so it's a very different experience. And I think, you know, what's great is that you've got choice in terms of the kind of university and the location of the university that you might want to go to. So just to kind of summarise, really, Teesside University London, our location is great. It's a really, really fantastic location in London. East London, Stratford is kind of the real sort of up and coming area of London. There's so much development happening there. It's kind of the place to be in London at the moment. Also, the sort of the employability skills and industry links that we can offer you in terms of, you know, you're being taught by experts in their field. We're also bringing in industry partners to work with you. And then also that innovative approach to study that I talked about. So those compressed hours on campus in those 6-week blocks as well, that really appeals to quite a lot of our students. And also you can access, as I said, all your learning materials, your software, your resources, wherever you are, because we're a digital first campus. And that's it from me. I just wanted to give you a quick sort of overview, really, in terms of Teesside University London. But if there's any questions, please do let me know.
Thanks, Catherine. Thank you for your presentation. It's very exciting to know about your London campus. I think maybe some students writing their questions to the chat box, and actually we got one. Thank you for sharing. Could you please elaborate on the graduate course of computer science?
Yes. So undergraduate, I'll talk a little bit about both. So we've got two undergraduate programs in computing. So we have computer science and informatics, and we also have information and cybersecurity, both of which are proving pretty popular. Information and cybersecurity in particular, actually, and that's one of the courses that employers are telling us there is a lot of demand for. And people, I suppose, my age, those are the skills we don't have, and they're looking to young people actually to come in to the industry with those skills, because cybersecurity is such an important area. So it's a really growing area, and there are lots and lots of very well paid jobs actually in information and cybersecurity. And then we also offer in that at master's level as well. And we also offer data science at master's level, and fintech as well in the computer science area.
Thank you for your very detailed answer. Yes, I think the demand of the cybersecurity related subject is increasing in Japan. So
Okay.
very good course for students.
Mm.
And actually, we get one more question from Mr. or Miss K. I heard animation and game courses are becoming popular among students from China, especially. What are some strong characteristics of animation and game courses at UK university in general, and compared with other English-speaking country like USA?
I think one of the things, I mean, the first wave of computer games sort of came out of the UK with the Sinclair Spectrum, but also with the Commodore 64. And a lot of us worked in that in the 80s. So I think it's the legacy really about what the UK courses have. They're taught by people who've been working in the industry for, in many cases, like 40 years, or even longer in some cases with our researchers. Also, there's a huge hub of games companies in the UK. My own wife used to work for Ubisoft. It's very nearby the university. There are two big hubs of where the games companies exist. They're Guildford in Kent, which is sort of the major one, and the other one is in the northeast, which is around us. And it's part of the success we've had with our courses. We have playground games who make things like Forza Horizon and Fable. We've got CCP who do EVE Online. We've got Ubisoft who do Assassin's Creed. There's huge amounts of companies around the area who very much work with our courses to make sure that we're creating the kind of graduates that they need, and also that the courses are developing the kind of expertise that the students will be expected to have in 3 to 4 years' time. So I think mainly it's the pedigree of how long we've been established at the cutting it, like Rockstar Games, who are about to release Grand Theft Auto 6, which is thought to be one of the biggest releases of probably the past 10 years. They're from just up the road from us in Scotland, just over the border originally. So a lot of those big games companies, though they may have bases in the US, the US is very expensive, so it tends to be where the established companies do, their smaller branches. When they want to staff up, it tends to be in the UK. Particularly right on our doorstep, we've got companies who've been around for many years that people may not have heard of, like Double 11 Games. There's lots of indie companies start up around the university because of the access to staff and students and the ability to put in creative briefs and get help back. So it's a fantastic collaborative community that's very nearby and on hand. So a lot of our staff end up going out and working with small games companies, or going out to work in the bigger games companies for a couple of years, then coming back in to the university and bringing their experience with them. And so I suppose the US one is US is big for games. I think in terms of where people come looking for their graduates, I can only speak from what happens domestically on our doorstep. We're based in the middle of the UK, as I mentioned. It's very easy for us through our Expo series, as has been mentioned by Penny before, which we run every year for all students. It's very easy. We get like up to 800 companies coming up here to try and recruit their staff from Teesside because of the quality of the students coming out of here. And of course, we work very closely between our Newcastle, our Teesside campus and our London campus. We do, our Expo series also exists down in London. So there's opportunities if students want to get around that Soho area where a lot of the film and animation side is. They can go down there and meet people if they need to, and that's one of the benefits of having the two sites that are on there. So sorry, I get very excited about this, so I do tend to talk a lot.
I think for me, it's legacy, but we've also, because we're a small country, but in terms of the amount of visual effects and animation companies and the amount of work that's done for global films that is done in London and in the UK is way in proportion much higher than, say, in the US. And a lot of US films actually do their animation and post-production in London. So all those people are graduates of the English universities, and the oldest one being Teesside. We started before anybody else did. In 1988, I think, was the first animation course.
And I think we're also held to account by the likes of Screen Skills, as Penny showed. There's a little logo in there called Screen Skills. So it's not just us saying we're the best at what we do. A government-appointed independent body assesses our courses and makes sure that they're fit for purpose, that they are delivering what industry needs, and that it's future-proofing the experiences of those students. And we have to, we're tested regularly to make sure that we're doing that. And that's why we take a lot of pride in showing our Bradshaw being Screen Skills Select. It shows that the skills you learn at Teesside are going to be applicable whether you're in South Korea or Australia or in San Francisco. But another thing just to put into that as well, we do offer mobility for students. We're just looking at projects at present for our games and animation students to go and study over summer for 3 months in Madrid, and as part of a cohort hopefully going across to Annecy in France, as well as Singapore, and possibly opportunities in Australia as well. So there are opportunities to travel outside of this bit, because it's great for the student experience, but also to see what other students at other universities are doing. And we're confident enough in what we do that you'll be very happy when you speak to other universities and students about what they do, that the experience at Teesside hopefully is at the very top of the heap there.
Thank you so much for your very detailed input, Mr. Michael. Actually, we get quite the same question from students who wants to study in the creative industries and who are aiming to study animation. So I think it's a very good point for students to consider where to study and what the benefit about studying in the UK. Thank you so much for your very detailed answers. And yes, I think that's all questions we got for today. If you do you have any other things you want to add for this session? Okay, so I think we can close the webinar now. それでは皆様本日 T サイド大学のウェビナーにご参加いただいてありがとうございます。こちらのウェビナーが皆様にとって進学を考えるにあたって、有意義な、情報となっておりましたら幸いです。それでは本日のウェビナーはこちらで終了となります。ご参加いただきありがとうございました。Thank you so much for joining and sparing your time with us. And so this is the end of the webinar. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. So I'll stop recording.